Hello again all. Just wanted to give a quick update on the basement Dolby Atmos theater build. So we've got a long way here. I'm going to kind of step back into the entrance to the basement here. Come down the stairs here to a landing. There's going to be a wall right here into the bedroom that you're going to see. And then here's our entrance to the basement. Over by the stacks of insulation, going to be a pool table. And then as we look left here, framing out this wall, and there'll be a ledger stone wall with a TV couch here in the middle. And then going to be putting in a bar over here. Kind of have taped out where the counters are going to go, kind of starting at the green corner there. The other counter, and then the bar top extending out all the way to the bathroom over there. And here is the kind of several unique framing things that I've found. Obviously having to do a lot of softening, all right, because we've got main water lines coming out to one side of the house going all the way over, and then the other side of the house coming out at a 45-degree angle along with AC lines. And those AC lines go all the way down along with the water. And so there was really, and the other issue obviously going back here is my HVAC ductwork, okay? So in the bar area, first kind of conundrum that I was in was what to do with the piping one, the AC lines 2, and the HVAC 3. And I could have just done a soffit there and then ran it to 45, but knowing that this was going to be a bar wall, I decided to keep it all, you know, kind of equal and run a soffit the whole way over. Guys, I know you're probably laughing at how I'm doing this soffiting, all right, but it's hard to do a ladder soffit that can't go all the way across when you've got lines crossing under there. So I had to break it up. Yes, I know that's less stable, but you know what? It's going to work. I'm not a professional framer. But I assure you that everything's lined up and it's all level and at the perfect height because I spent a lot of time making it right. So following down, we got that HVAC ductwork into the bathroom here, where we'll do a shower, toilet, vanity, okay? And then that soffit here is going to follow all the way down, and then I ran this soffit out here because those HVAC lines, I wanted them to be tight. I wanted this soffit here to be as tight as possible on this wall. But as you can see, my HVAC lines and my condenser lines start to angle over. And so I couldn't keep this line on this soffit going. So I decided to extend then this soffit out where those lines started to go over toward the penetration out to the units outside, okay? So that kind of shows this area of soffits, and I feel that each basement is unique, and I just felt that this basement really had a lot of unique challenges that all the videos I've seen have not really addressed with framing, okay? And the way that I did this framing, I mean, I'm sure everybody can critique, everybody can say that there's something not right. You know, I couldn't do the top of my wall all the way up because I've got a drain line there that you can see hanging, right? So I was limited, and that drain line is sloping down, so I could only go to a max height of that corner right there. And then because I didn't have anything for my top plate to frame to, I had to, you know, run powder actuated loads into this 2x4, frame it out, and then frame in. Okay, that's something I've seen on other videos. And then here, apparently this line had already popped for the previous owner before I bought the house. And so I took out the copper that they had replaced it with, put PEX, and then wanted to frame that out because of the way that they ran this line coming straight through the finished drywall, because the basement, obviously, as you see, had finished drywall on the walkout side. So this was my solution, is to just frame out where that was coming through. Could I have done it elsewhere? Yes. Or other, you know, a different way? Yes. But that's my thought. And I'm going to put a 90-degree elbow in, guys, back here. This was just temporary to get the thing connected, and I know it's probably not good to have tension on those PEX fittings or the shark bites, but it's temporary and it's holding water. Okay, so that's kind of this side of the house. And then as you can see back here, other option was to extend the soffit all the way out to where those lines are, those water lines, but I didn't want to do that. That's too far. I didn't want that soffit taking up, already a huge chunk. It's already cutting out into that room or that area long, far enough. And since I only had to definitively cover my HVAC and my condenser lines, I decided that I'm just going to do some strapping with 2x4s. I had 2x4s. I know I could have done it with, 1x3s or whatever, but ordered a bunch of 2x4s. So I've got 2x4s there, did some strapping. That strapping is going to go all the way out to this line here. But then over here, you can see is the condenser lines again. Those are thick, okay? So I can't fit those within the space of 1.5 inch thick 2x4. So I'm probably gonna have to, do some strapping with 2x4s on their side. And I'm gonna do that kind of strapping all just in this bar area. And then there'll be a little line that goes from, a 2x4 drop up to the 2x4 on its side, kind of on this line here. So it's another unique challenge that I made a decision. You could have done it elsewhere or, a different way. I could have just run just a little bit of a drop down right along at a 45-degree angle, but I'd rather have kind of dedicated areas and rooms. Okay. Something else that was very unique with framing my basement. I really liked the idea of doing a cantilever tray ceiling to kind of differentiate and identify this room as the room for the theater, all right? I like an open basement. I'm not gonna have a dedicated theater room. I want everything to be open, and when you entertain, I want everybody to enjoy and watch the big screen or watch the projector, whatever I do, and have it flow from pool table to bar to TV and entertainment area. But I at least kind of wanted to isolate and show that this is the theater room and do a cantilever tray because, again, I have these water lines running, and so either I was going to have to extend this drop-down ceiling to get under the beam here all the way out to either go then straight up and next to the beam down and then run another, you got to drop down to fit those water lines. So either go straight up over for the water lines and then up again, or, and what I elected to do was hide those water lines behind the vertical portion of what will end up being a tray. And I didn't want to just do a tray with crown molding. I don't like that design. So I want to do a cantilever tray ceiling. And so this is how I've thought is the best way to do a cantilever tray while incorporating the drop down that was going to be necessary to hide the beam. Okay. And then all this duct work and drain piping and everything else that needed to be hidden in this area here that was present when you enter the basement area. So again, I get it. It looks terrible. The function or how I'm doing the framing, it may not be their best thing, guys. I get it. I'm not a professional framer. Could I have, knocked all that drywall out, ran a horizontal plate, and then had all those attached to it? Sure. But I wanted to keep the drywall there to do, use it as a sound block into that space above the landing area. So I wanted to leave the drywall in place, and then I just framed up to it. And you know what? These things are strong. I have literally hung from each of these 2x4s individually. They're 16 on center. A lot of people are going to do 24. And so this thing is rock solid. It doesn't look rock solid, but it's rock solid. What I'm going to do here is, because I want this whole thing to be trayed, some people think, why are you doing this drop down? Why am I taking up all this ceiling space? And again, it's to kind of isolate, over here is going to be bar area. And this space is going to be, a really nice bar area with backsplash, big screen TV, couple of, sorry, blanking, but a couple of spots for, putting some bottles or whatever, some shelving. And so with the only way to do the cantilever tray would have been that I could have done a cantilever tray all the way around the perimeter, okay, and followed it all the way around, but that's a lot of tray, and I didn't want to do that. So I'm just doing a cantilever tray around the outside.